Yeah, I think sometimes the whole mental health aspect gets kind of whitewashed, right?
Yeah,
It gets pushed to the side, and it's all about, I got to get sober, I got to get clean,
right.
just focusing on that. And the other aspect, like, well, why were you using and drinking your face off in the first place?
Yeah,
What happened there, right?
exactly. Exactly.
And for me, it was something that I struggled with well into my recovery.
Right, right. And so I mean, you've got decades of sobriety now,
Yeah, 30 years, over
30
30
years.
years.
Yeah. And so talk about what happened to you along the way and what sort of were your markers and your signs and the symptoms, I guess, of, that something wasn't completely right.
I always struggled with anger,
Hmm.
right? Anger was always a big thing with me, and I just found that when I was drinking and drugging, right, it was it wasn't really frowned upon by my peers, the guys that I
Sure.
was out with, right? It was just
Yeah.
part and parcel.
Yeah.
But once I got sober, it was just like it was boiling over at times and over minuscule things.
Right.
And it really came to a head for me when I was about, I would say, 5 or 6 years sober.
Okay.
Uh, a guy cut me off in a Tim Hortons parking lot,
Yeah.
and I was literally out of my car, pulling him out of his car, like in an absolute rage,
Hmm.
right? And I glanced in the back seat, and he had his kid in a child seat,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I
Yeah.
froze. I just absolutely froze, let go of the guy, got back into my car, and was out of there. And
Yeah.
I think I made it half a block. I had to pull over, and I vomited all over the street.
Wow.
And I remember phoning my sponsor, just saying, like, I'm coming unglued. Like,
Yeah.
I can't keep a lid on this anymore, right? And
Right.
he just kind of smiled and goes, finally,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that's not the reaction I was hoping for, but okay, okay.
Isn't that always the case, right? Like our
Yeah.
sponsors tell us something and we're expecting
Oh,
something completely different and they
completely different. It's just like,
yeah.
oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It happens to everybody. It was like, oh, finally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been
Okay.
waiting for
Now
this.
we're here. And I was
Yeah.
just like, what? Pardon? So we sat down, and coincidentally, he was a firefighter, right?
Hmm.
So I used to hang out at the fire hall all the time,
Right.
right? Go and see him. We'd sit down, chat, and stuff like that. And if they got a call, I would leave.
Hmm.
So I went to see him at the fire hall after this incident, and I just said, "Listen, like I can't keep a lid on this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's getting out of control." And I wake up in the morning and I'm pissed off, and I'm pissed off the entire day, and I force a smile and go through
Right.
the motions, but like I'm angry and
Yeah.
I don't get it, right? Things are
Yeah.
supposed to be getting better. So he hooked me up with this anger management therapist, right? And I said, I don't want to see a therapist. Like, there's got to be something else, right? And he just looked at me and goes, I see him.
Okay.
And I was like, pardon?
Yeah.
And he was just like, he goes, yeah. He goes, I go to see him.
Yeah.
Which to me was just like, it blew me away because I kind of viewed this guy as like a real man's man,
Right.
right? It's like, he's a firefighter. Nothing affects this guy at all.
Hmm.
Everything's cool. And then for him to say to me, yeah, I see a therapist, it was kind of like, okay, now
Yeah.
what do I do? Now I've got no excuses, right?
Right. Right.
So I'm like, I guess I'll go see him.